Few players have had such a complete disregard for their physical well-being as Lewis Moody. In a club career spanning 16 years for Leicester and Bath, he won 71 caps for England and played for the British and Irish Lions. But his fearless style of play took its toll, and earlier this year he announced his retirement.
I think initially it was very difficult because I still wanted to continue playing. Sadly, the shoulder wouldn't let me, so I had to make that decision, and moreover, my body really made the decision for me, but mentally you've still got to press the button to say, okay, it's over. I have to admit, the first time I really missed it was, the first game of the season. I sat down and watched it, and yeah, you could still feel the old emotion building within, and then a realisation that, you're not going to get to step foot on the park again and let any of it out. So, but I don't look back with any frustration, really, because I was very lucky to have incredibly successful career with some fantastic players and teams, and to have been a small part of all of the success I would have chewed someone's hand off.
His uncompromising approach earned him the nickname Mad Dog, befitting an Englishman who thrived on the physical aspects of the game.
Being a flanker and playing rugby is all about the combative, physical nature of the game, and that was always something I loved, and just getting stuck into each other and testing yourself against some of the best players in the world.
One such occasion came 2 years ago when England travelled down under for a 2-test series against the Wallabies.
Quaid had actually embarrassed me the game before. I think I'd missed about 6 tackles on him alone because I gave him too much space, and he's got such elusive feet that I was furious with myself, and in my head I was thinking there's no way I should play next weekend, and I was captain. So I had a quick chat with the defensive coach, Mike Ford, said, look, give me a chance to get back at this guy, and from the first line out I was just targeted with going and getting him, and I did exactly that, and I felt much better anyway about myself afterwards.
Moody's achievements were all the more remarkable, considering that in 2005 he was diagnosed with colitis, a debilitating bowel disease.
I was losing a lot of blood every time I went to the loo, and the classic bloke thing, I waited about a month till I told anyone, and finally went and saw the doctor, and he very quickly diagnosed it with ulcerative colitis. And yeah, it was, to be honest, it was a bit of a nightmare those first 2 years, because you try and keep it quiet. As you said, I had a lot of injuries, and I didn't want this to be another reason for coaches not to pick me, or because there's every opportunity I might have to run off the pitch during a game because I need the loo, and it was a very debilitating disease, even to the point I lived 5 minutes from training, and I'd have to plan my route so that I could possibly stop 6 times just on the way, a 5-minute journey to get there. And I didn't speak about it with my mates or anyone really, bar my wife and my folks, for a couple of years, and as soon as you do start to talk about it, it becomes acceptable. It's just then something you deal with. You just have to get on with it, don't you? It's one of those things you overcome. A lot of people deal with a lot more severe illnesses and issues. So now I'm a champion for Crohn's and Colitis UK, and a lot of kids and people come in contact with me since I've spoken about it, and telling me their issues, and they're trying to help me. They want to know more, and so for me that's the biggest thing.
Respected by his peers, Moody was one of the most successful players in the game. Twice winner of the Heineken Cup and 7 Premiership titles with Leicester, but the undoubted highlight came in 2003. Johnny Wilkinson may have kicked England to World Cup glory, but Moody's role in the build-up to that golden strike has often gone unnoticed.
Lewis Moody coming on for England now.
So I was lucky to even be on the field. Richard Hill, I think, got cramp, and Clive put me on.
Moody gets the ball immediately.
I was lucky to be in a side with so many incredible individuals. For them all to come together at that time, in that occasion in Australia, was just an amazing day. Something that always lives with you, and it's incredible to think it was nearly 10 years ago.
Moody led his country 11 times, his final appearance against France at last year's World Cup. An inspiring figure who led by example on the pitch, he's set to do the same off it. We were doing a trek across the Yukon in February, which is 300 miles across Alaska, and it's called the Yukon Arctic Ultra Marathon. So it's going to be a challenge, to say the least. I think it gets down to about minus 50 degrees, and we're doing it for Hope HIV, which is a charity I've been involved with for about 6 years. I'll certainly be coaching. I've done a number of coaching sessions over the summer
with St Vincent and Bermuda, the two national sides. And when you see people learn very quickly from just a small bit of information that you can give them is one of the joys you get out of it. I owe a huge amount to rugby and still do, which is why I think it's so important that we try and give as much back as possible to the next generation coming through.